Welcome to Harvest 2025, the global race to gather the world's most beloved crops. Our journey begins with a sweeping view of the planet. From the orange groves of Brazil and Vietnam, to the rolling vineyards of France and California, from the desert oases of Egypt, to the almond orchards of Australia, the world is entering its busiest season of the year. Billions of tons of fruit, nuts, and grains are being harvested, packed, and shipped, feeding a population of over 8 billion people. This is not just about agriculture. It is about survival, commerce, culture, and the intricate choreography of people and machines working together against the ticking clock of nature. Imagine the camera zooming across the continents. Vast citrus groves glow under the tropical sun. Mango orchards shimmer in golden hues as workers climb ladders to handpick ripe fruit. Tractors roll across endless apple fields, while delicate strawberries are plucked one by one before sunrise. The scale is almost impossible to comprehend, and yet every single crop is carefully monitored, harvested, and preserved. In this film, we will follow oranges, mangoes, apples, grapes, dates, avocados, carrots, strawberries, almonds, jackfruit, pineapples, sweet corn, and sugarcane. Together, they represent the soul of modern farming in 2025. Let's begin with citrus, one of humanity's favorite sources of vitamin C. In Vietnam, China, and Brazil, farmers are reaching peak yields as 2025 unfolds. Florida and California, despite challenges from storms and pests, continue to anchor the U.S. citrus industry. In brightly lit packing houses, machines wash, brush, and wax oranges before sorting them by size and quality. Some are bound for the fresh fruit market, while others head straight into giant juicing machines. Inside these industrial presses, peel and pith are separated, while pure juice flows into aseptic tanks. Pasteurization at just the right temperature kills bacteria but preserves freshness, and cartons roll off the line marked with "Not from Concentrate" labels. This premium segment of orange juice can continues to rise in popularity, driven by health-conscious consumers looking for a natural energy boost. Now shift the scene to Mexico, the world's largest exporter of mangoes. By 2025, the country is exporting close to 100 million boxes per year, each box weighing around 4 kilograms. Mangoes must be harvested by hand since their delicate skin bruises easily. Workers use long poles with soft nets, gently twisting each fruit from the branch. Once picked, the fruit enters water channels where ozone and high-pressure sprays clean off dust and pests. In freezing facilities, some mangoes are peeled, sliced, and frozen into cubes, using IQF technology, individually quick freezing that locks in flavor and color. These cubes are bagged for export to Europe, North America, and Asia, where they end up in smoothies, yogurts, and desserts. The rest are sold fresh, wrapped carefully in protective mesh, and shipped in refrigerated containers that keep the temperature between 10 and 13 degrees Celsius. As we move north, apples take center stage in the United States. In 2025, production is expected to reach nearly 279 million bushels, equal to around 12.5 million tons. Gala Fuji and Honeycrisp dominate the market. In Washington State and Michigan, harvesting teams pick apples by hand, but modern conveyors help reduce bruising. Workers gently place apples onto moving belts that carry them directly into padded bins. From there, the fruit travels to giant water-filled channels inside packing houses. Here, the apples float, drift, and separate naturally while brushes polish their skins. Cameras scan every apple for color size and blemishes, sorting them with an accuracy impossible for the human eye alone. Premium fruit goes to supermarkets, while smaller or slightly blemished apples are diverted to juice sauces and baby food. Nothing is wasted. The story of grapes is equally impressive. California alone produces the overwhelming majority of raisins in the United States, often between 600 and 800 million pounds each year. Farmers use specialized machines that shake vines gently until ripe grapes fall onto catch trays. These grapes are then spread onto drying mats under the blazing sun, where the moisture content gradually drops to around 15%. At this stage, the sweetness is concentrated, and the grapes are ready to become raisins. In modern plants, high-pressure washers remove debris, while optical scanners reject any imperfect fruit. Large cartons of raisins are then shipped worldwide, destined for cereals, baked goods, and snacks. But not all grapes are dried. Some are transformed into wine. In California's Napa Valley, as well as in France, Italy, and Spain, winemaking follows traditions dating back thousands of years. Trucks unload grapes into giant hoppers, which carefully crush them without breaking the seeds. Natural yeast on the skins begins the fermentation process, turning sugars into alcohol and carbon dioxide. In massive stainless steel tanks, fermentation caps of skins rise to the top, only to be pushed down daily to enhance flavor and color. Weeks later, the young wine is filtered, clarified, and transferred to oak barrels, where it will rest for 12 months or more. Oak imparts subtle vanilla and spice notes, smoothing tannins and deepening complexity. Finally, the matured wine is bottled, sealed, labeled, and shipped across the world, a product born from soil, climate, and patient craftsmanship. Meanwhile, in Egypt's sun-scorched oases, date palms tower high above the desert sands. Egypt produces nearly 2 million tons of dates every year, accounting for about 1/5 of the global total. Harvesting dates is dangerous, often requiring workers to climb tall palms with ropes and knives. In recent years, hydraulic platforms have reduced these risks, allowing workers to cut entire clusters safely. Dates are usually bagged on the tree, weeks before harvest, protecting them from insects and helping them ripen evenly. Once cut, they are lowered gently and transported to processing plants. Here, water jets remove sand and dust, and the fruits are sorted by size and texture. Some are sold whole, others are pitted and stuffed with nuts, while the rest are cooked into a thick syrup rich in natural sugars. Date syrup can contain up to 75% natural sugar, making it a healthier alternative to refined sugar. The avocado tells a different story. In Mexico, California, and Peru, millions of avocados are picked each year by hand. Workers cut stems carefully, placing fruit into baskets strapped to their chests. In processing plants, avocados are washed, brushed, and waxed to preserve freshness before packing into crates. Some go directly to market, while others are mashed into guacamole. Modern guacamole factories use high-pressure processing, or HPP, to kill bacteria without heat, preserving the creamy texture and fresh taste for weeks. Avocados are also cold-pressed into rich green oil, bottled in dark glass to protect it from light, and sold as a premium health product. Carrots offer another glimpse of modern agriculture. In China, the largest producer-specialized machines run across sandy soils. Blades slice beneath each carrot, rubber belts grip the green tops, and the roots are pulled up in steady streams. Soil is shaken off, the tops are cut, and the carrots roll onto conveyors headed to trucks. In factories, high-pressure sprays wash away dirt, brushes polish the orange roots, and optical scanners grade them. perfect carrots are bagged fresh while others are cut into cubes, blanched and frozen using IQF technology. Some are juiced, pasteurized, and bottled as bright orange carrot juice. In every case, automation ensures speed and efficiency. Strawberries, in contrast, demand delicate hands. Global production recently surpassed 10 million tons, and demand keeps climbing, with the strawberry market expected to reach over $16 billion in value by 2025. Harvesting must be done in the cool hours of early morning. Workers carefully snap each stem and place berries into shallow trays. Berries are cooled rapidly in vacuum chambers to extend shelf life. In processing lines, strawberries are washed to stemmed and either packed fresh frozen individually or cooked into jams. Frozen strawberries retain their flavor for months and feed the booming market for smoothies and frozen desserts. Almonds, sometimes called California's liquid gold, represent one of the most valuable crops in the United States. In 2025, California's almond industry is projected to reach a record 3 billion pounds of shelled nuts, a 10% increase over last year. The harvest begins in late summer when enormous mechanical shakers clamp onto tree trunks and send shock waves through their branches. In seconds, thousands of nuts rain down, blanketing the orchard floor. Sweeper machines follow, brushing almonds into neat rows while powerful vacuums lift them into bins. Once hauled to hulling facilities, machines crack open the shells, separate hulls from kernels, and send the golden nuts through sorters and lasers. By the time they reach the packaging line, almonds are flawless, ready to become roasted snacks, almond milk, or almond flour. Across the Pacific, Australia has risen as the second largest exporter, with expected revenues of over $1 billion in 2025. Modern irrigation and drought-resistant varieties are helping Australian growers compete directly with California, securing their share of the booming global almond trade. Further east, tropical orchards give us jackfruit and pineapples, two fruits central to Southeast Asia's identity. In Thailand, Vietnam, and the Philippines, jackfruit is harvested by hand since each fruit can weigh up to 30 kilograms. Farmers climb ladders, cut the thick stem with machetes, and lower the giant green fruit into baskets to prevent bruising. Pineapples, on the other hand, are harvested on sprawling plantations. Workers wearing gloves bend low, twist each spiky fruit from its stem, and load it into carts. In large factories, pineapples are peeled, cored, sliced, and canned in sweet syrup, ready to ship to global markets. Pineapple juice, frozen chunks, and dried pineapple rings are all part of the billion-dollar export economy of Southeast Asia. Now shift to North America's Corn Belt. Sweet corn harvests in Florida and California use lightweight harvesters designed with padded clamps that grip the stalks, slice the ears, and load them directly onto conveyors. In Michigan and the Midwest, fleets of larger machines strip entire rows, filling trucks with thousands of ears per hour. Once collected, the corn is cooled and sorted. Some ears head fresh to supermarkets wrapped in husks. Others are blanched, frozen, and packed into bags of kernels. Corn remains America's largest crop by volume, with over 90 million acres planted nationwide. Nearly a third of all arable land in the U.S. is dedicated to corn. And while most of it is field corn, used for feed, fuel, and starch, sweet corn retains a special place at the dinner table. Sugarcane brings us to Brazil, the global leader. In 2025, Brazil is on track to harvest close to 1.5 billion tons of sugarcane, most of it from Sao Paulo state. The scale is staggering. Towering harvesters as tall as houses move down rows with rotary cutters slicing stalks near the ground. Leaves are shredded and left as mulch, while stalks are chopped into billets and conveyed into massive trucks moving in sync alongside the harvester. Within 24 hours, the cane must reach a mill where crushers squeeze out juice evaporation pans concentrated, and crystallizers spin raw sugar into golden crystals. Bagasse, the fibrous residue, is burned to generate electricity, or pressed into biodegradable plates and containers. From the field to the refinery, the entire cycle demonstrates how modern agriculture balances efficiency with sustainability while still satisfying global sugar demand. Carrots and strawberries illustrate two very different harvest styles. Carrots, often grown in sandy soils in China, the US and Europe rely on heavy machinery that lifts thousands of pounds per hour. These machines slice beneath the roots, grip the green tops, and pull carrots upward onto conveyors. Tops are trimmed off instantly, and roots tumble into bins ready for washing and polishing. Strawberries, delicate and easily bruised, remain labor-intensive. In California's coastal fields, workers crouch in neat rows at dawn, clipping ripe berries by hand and placing them carefully into shallow trays. New robotic harvesters are being tested using cameras and soft mechanical grippers, but humans remain unmatched in precision. Once harvested strawberries are chilled rapidly and either sold fresh frozen or turned into jams. By 2025, global strawberry production exceeds 10 million tons, with demand soaring, and the market valued at over $16 billion worldwide. Dates return us once again to desert oases. Egypt leads the world in raw production, harvesting nearly 2 million tons each year. Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, and Iran follow closely. The harvest is risky. Climbers strap on ropes, scale trunks, and cut clusters weighing more than 20 kilograms. Mesh bags tied around the bunches weeks earlier protect the fruit and catch any that fall. In modern facilities, dates are washed, sorted, pitted, and packaged. Some are pressed into chewy date paste used in energy bars, while others are cooked into syrup, reaching 75% natural sugar content. California's Coachella Valley specializes in the premium medjool variety, selling for 3 times the price of ordinary dates thanks to their size, softness, and caramel-like flavor. And so we reach the conclusion of Harvest 2025. From hand-picked strawberries to almonds shaken by mechanical giants, from pineapples harvested with machetes to sugarcane cut by towering machines, farming today is a marriage of ancient traditions and cutting-edge technology. Weather remains unpredictable, markets fluctuate, and global logistics are under constant pressure. Yet through human resilience and innovation, farmers deliver abundance to billions of tables worldwide. In every fruit, nut, and grain lies the silent story of soil, water, sunlight, and care. The race to harvest is more than just a season. It is the pulse of life on Earth, beating stronger than ever in 2025.